Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Justin Sirois, and so that he can come up and we're going to talk a little bit about his book. Justin Sirois. Hey Justin, how you doing?
Great, Adam.
I'm really good. My name is Adam Robinson. I am the publisher of Publishing Genius Press. Just to let you know who I am. Justin, when did you decide you wanted to write this novel?
I think I decided to write this novel, I guess it was probably like 2007, and I knew about Fallujah and stuff, and I had been writing like pretty crappy poems about it, and no one wanted to read them. And some people read them. Jamie read them. And I had tried to write a novel a few times, and it was a complete effing failure and mess. And I approached this in a different way and got really organized and outlined it and put my heart into it. So hopefully that worked out. So 2007.
Yeah, it worked out real good. So you've been writing poems about it. Why did you, I consider myself a pretty well-informed media person and everything. And so I knew about it, but it never occurred to me to make it a focus of my artwork. How did you get that impulse?
I guess it was a mixture of being really pissed off about not just the war, but the way the coalition handled the Blackwater tragedy. And I don't want to downplay that tragedy. It was awful what happened to those guys, but you don't roll in and cook a city for that. And I didn't really realize until a couple months ago. I was watching this Noam Chomsky lecture, and the guys, the group that pulled the Blackwater contractors out of the Humvee, it wasn't even in response to the occupation of war. It was about Israel and the particular thing that happened over there. So it's just this misplaced aggression, and I think that kind of sums up a lot of what the novel's about. All this sort of violence that affects people in ways that we can't even imagine. And trying to go back to your original question, I don't know if I remember it.
Why? What made you?
Why did I do this?
Yeah, where did you get the impulse? Being pissed off.
Well, yeah, pissed off, but also, this also talks about Falcons too, seeing that particular image of the Blackwater mercs hanging from the bridge, the two guys, and you can't even you can tell their bodies, but they're kind of not bodies now. And I was looking at that, but also looking at the people surrounding the bodies and wondering who those people were. And then in the foreground is this young man, and he's raising his arm, and he's pretty much the central figure. If you talk about figures, he's the central foreground figure of the photo. And I kept thinking about him, what happened to that guy? What kind of, did he become a celebrity? How did he deal with being published around the world overnight by the Associated Press? And so that image was not only impetus for my empathy, but the starting content of the novel. So that particular boy became Khalil.
How many people have read the book already? Yeah, quite a few hands out there. That's great. And so you recognize that character that he's describing as Khalil, and for Khalil being that person is at first a big badge of pride for him, but it becomes sort of a complication for him. And I want to talk about that. I just have a couple more questions for you, and then we're going to hear you read from part of it. But you said that that this novel came from you being responding that you were angry, and also that Noam Chomsky, I think I watched that lecture too, and he refers to it as as a crime against humanity, and not only a crime against humanity, but one that most U.S. citizens don't think about.
So the Blackwater thing?
The
Or the retaliation?
The U.S. retaliation. The subsequent siege of the city and the destruction that happened, it was a crime against humanity. He calls it that. Of course he does, he's Noam Chomsky. But the novel is, as very many people can attest, it seems to be kind of, well, non-partisan. It's like you're not making an attack there. And I was wondering if there was a point when you were writing it when you decided to just tell a story without making any judgments, or if that was your first impulse.
I'll preface it by saying, like, I came from an art background, so like trying to be vegetarian in college and looking at Suko art that's like super fucking obvious and boring. Suko, it's a woman's name. She makes like slaughterhouse art out of like pastel, you know, on black velvet or something. But you know, like when you think about that kind of stuff, like you can have it hanging on the walls and you can go through the whole show and you know exactly what you're in for, and you're going to leave thinking the exact same thing, and it doesn't really engage you the way that good art should. So I think if you're going to write a political book or a novel about war, then you should have enough respect for your audience to make up their own mind, bring their own experiences to the work itself, and not explain a whole lot, because like when you do, I mean, what's the fucking point? So I didn't want to write a partisan book, mainly because I would have gotten bored writing it, and then no one would read it. Or the people who would read it would just be, you know, other little guys with boots on.
I have sneakers on. I probably, if you had done that, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So the story of the novel concerns two friends, Salim and Khalil, who are it's sort of very slightly involved with the insurgents, and when it becomes obvious that there's going to be a huge battle in the city, they decide they need to leave, and I think that kind of sets up what you're going to read to us now.
Yeah.